Now, what is our duty? Our duty is to participate in order to make value and do value addition to these resources, also to recapitulate, also to rethink whether the value that we are adding to something, it is not resulting in the adverse effects or scarcity of these resources. Now, based on this, we have different classification of resources. Resources are either natural, human or man. Repeat. Resources are of three different kinds. Natural resources which are present in the nature, human resources, man himself, and human made resources, resources which are man made or artificial in nature. And further, natural resources are classified into two types, renewable and non-renewable resources. Now, renewable resources are resources which can be renewed over a period of time, such as solar, wind, hydro energy, water, etc. Non-renewable resources, on the other hand, are resources such as coal, petroleum, etc. Then, human-made resources are the resources that are made by man, which are iron, steel, wood, furniture, bridges, house, etc. And then, lastly, we have human resources, people, man, woman itself. Now, let's talk about why do we require management of natural resources. So, now let's talk about natural resources in detail. What are natural resources? What first thought pops in your head when you listen to the word natural resources? Of course, these are the resources which are present naturally in our environment. These are the resources that are drawn from nature and used without much modification. We do not make major modifications to these resources in order to use them or consume them directly, such as the air we breathe. Do you change the air in which you breathe? No. We directly consume and respire the air that we breathe. The water in our rivers, lakes, soil, minerals, these are all examples of natural resources. Now, we use natural resources in bountiful quantities because these are directly beneficial for us. But at the same time, it is required to manage these resources in a proper way. Otherwise, they may lead to scarcity of these resources, such as overexploitation and destruction of natural resources due to growing population has resulted in scarcity of resources. We see that there is a lack of water in our country and in our environment. A lot of people, they do not get clean drinking water because we have wasted and over consumed water resources. At the same time, we do not have land and we are cutting down trees and practicing deforestation because of increase in population so that they can settle over there. So, we should be sensitive about how we use our natural resources because they may have a long lasting impact on our generation. Now, further we have classification of natural resources into renewable and non-renewable. By the name itself, it is easy to understand that renewable resources are the resources that can be renewed, whereas non-renewable resources are the resources that cannot be renewed or take a very long period of time to be renewed. Let's study these in detail. Now, renewable resources are those which get renewed or replenished quickly. Some of these are unlimited in nature and cannot be affected by human activities, such as solar energy and wind energy. Renewable resources, yet carelessness in the use of renewable resources may lead to devastating effect in long run, such as over-exploitation or over-consumption of water can lead to scarcity of water as we are facing today. Deforestation and over-exploitation of soil and land, not taking care or replenishing these natural resources can affect their stock in our environment. Water seems to be an unlimited renewable resource because we live on a blue planet. Oceans are there, a humongous amount of water is present, but that water is not suitable for our direct consumption. And shortage and drying up of natural water bodies, water sources is resulting in major problems in a lot of parts of the world today. Now, on the other hand, non-renewable resources are resources which have a limited stock. They are not unlimited in nature. Once the stock or the quantity of these resources is finished or exhausted, it takes thousands of years for them to replenish or renew. For example, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. The distribution of natural resources depends on a number of factors such as terrain, the region, landforms, climate and altitude. Climatic conditions and the altitude on which the resources are located. The distribution of resources is unequal because of these factors and it differs much over other parts of the world as well. Now let's talk about human-made resources. Human-made or man-made resources are the resources that are obtained from natural substances, but they are modified or changed from their original form in order to be consumed or used. For example, extracting iron from iron ore. Now, iron ore is a natural resource, but could you use iron ore in making bridges, roads, machinery? No, we cannot. Therefore, we need to extract. Now, let's talk about human-made resources. There are certain resources which are present in nature, but we cannot directly consume them. They need to be modified or changed in order to be used. For example, the iron ore. Iron ore is a natural resource which is found in our nature. But can you use iron ore to make various things such as bridges, roads, buildings, cars, etc.? No, we cannot. Therefore, we need to extract iron from that ore, and that form of resource is known as human-made resource or man-made resource. Some examples of man-made resources are roads, bridges, buildings, trains and tools. We use these kind of resources and you can see these resources all around you. Everything, every resource that you use in a day-to-day life is a man-made resource. Now let's talk about human resources. Humans, man himself is a resource because people can make the best use of nature to create more and more resources, multiply it. Because we have the knowledge, capability in order to use our skills and technology to renew natural resources as well as convert them into man-made resources. This is why human beings are also a special resource present on this planet and they are referred to as human resource. Education and health help in making people a valuable resource. This improves quality of people's skill so that they are able to create more and more resources, and this process is known as human resource development. Now, an unbalanced ecosystem when some resource is depleting and the other resources are increasing may result in an unbalanced ecosystem which may result in natural calamities such as landslides, floods or drought. Now, distribution of natural resources is uneven and unequal throughout the world. Equal distribution of resources helps the society to preserve a sustainable quality of life along with a worldwide peace. However, that is not being accomplished now because the resources are unevenly distributed. Few people have abundance of resources whereas some people do not have even the minimal quantity of those resources. Now, as we were talking about human resources, people themselves are resources. Human beings turn the gifts of nature into resources through their ideas, skills, knowledge, discovery, technology, etc. For example, teachers, engineers, workers, they always contribute and take our society further and develop it.